These are the scientifically backed study strategies that will skyrocket your grades. This is your no-nonsense guide to studying effectively. There will not be any fluff in this video, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to cite all of my sources so you can read this evidence if it is interesting. If you are watching this video, there is no doubt in my mind that you are a motivated student. If you weren't, you wouldn't have watched up until this point anyway. You are capable of getting those grades that you always dreamed of. You are motivated, you are intelligent, and this video is going to help you make the most of your study time. This is how you're going to revise effectively for your upcoming exams. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tilly. I recently achieved 5 A stars in my A levels. I got almost straight grade 9s in my GCSEs because I did in fact get 2 8s, and I am currently studying economics at the London School of Economics. I am posting my top study tips and tricks every single day, so if that is something that you are interested in, be sure to like this video and subscribe so that you do not miss out. The first thing that you need to understand is that any sort of revision or studying that you do should incorporate something called active recall. What is this? This is the idea that you are retrieving information from your memory as opposed to just passively reviewing it. So passive review may be reading a textbook and highlighting it. Active recall is trying out practice paper questions, making sure you are actually retrieving information rather than just reading it and then writing it. Cognitive psychology calls this the testing effect. This is one of the most robust findings in psychology. The testing effect is this retrieval practice. There is this seminal paper by Carpag and Blunt, which essentially demonstrates that active review is more effective at helping students learn. It compared one group who was using active recall, and they compared this group to another group using more passive study methods, however critically also using study methods such as concept mapping and writing down how things are interlinked. Understanding synoptic links between different subtopics is critical to getting those top grades. This study found that those students that were using active recall actually performed better when tested than students using alternative study methods, including concept mapping. But one of the critical findings of this paper is that active recall is not just important for rote memorization of facts. So maybe this is the year that the Berlin Wall fell, or all of the components of an animal cell. It's about conceptual understanding. Those students that used active recall to study for subjects that required a deep conceptual understanding and advanced ability to make synoptic links between subtopics and evaluate these in their work, they also performed better when using active recall. A 2024 systematic review of many different studies published in the National Library for Medicine also demonstrated active recall was associated with improved academic performance in young adults, particularly flashcards and particularly self-testing. So this is making sure you can answer questions when asked from memory, and this concept mapping. So writing down these ideas and writing down from memory how they link together to improve your conceptual understanding. The next concept that you need to understand is that you need to be using spaced repetition. A 2006 literature review by Cepeda revealed that spaced repetition actually improved academic outcomes because it beats something called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Hermann Ebbinghaus coined this term, which basically just explains the fact you are going to forget things at a faster rate if you fail to consistently review them. Cepeda's meta-analysis of many different studies demonstrates that spaced repetition is much more effective than cramming. One thing that I say all of the time is that consistency beats intensity, and that is exactly what this paper is showing. If you wanted to build muscle, you would go to the gym for 1 hour a day for 12 weeks, 84 hours cumulatively. You would not go for 12 hours a day for 7 days. You would see much greater gains if you did 1 hour a day for 12 weeks than you would for 12 hours a day for 7 days. It's the same concept with learning. Sapeda also found that there was an optimal spacing gap depending on the retention interval. As in, there is not one optimal spacing gap for how frequently you need to review something. The frequency at which you need to review concepts depends on how long you need to retain that information for. Do you remember everything that you did in your chemistry GCSE? Hopefully if you are studying for your chemistry GCSE. However, I certainly don't, and I came out with a grade 9. If I sat that exam today, I genuinely think I would fail. If your exam is soon, shorter spacing gaps are more effective. If your exam is further away, longer spacing gaps are more effective. And now I am going to tell you something that you've probably not heard about before. This is called the novelty effect. The neuroscience actually shows us that novelty improves memory. So have you ever been onto YouTube, been onto other forms of social media and seen these influencers giving you different study methods that are all essentially built off the same foundations? I'm guilty of it. I talk about different study methods like 2, 3, 5, 7, or 5, 10, 15, or the 3, 2, 1 rule. These study methods are about spaced repetition. We also talk about practice papers, targeted practice papers, the Feynman technique, using SQ4R. All of these study methods are built off this foundation of active recall. I have just given you the evidence that demonstrates active recall is the most effective form of revision. So why are we using all of these different study methods? A 2020 study found that novelty improves memory persistence and promotes overall generalization of concepts. As in, exposure to this novel situation, exposure to this novel way of studying will actually improve your ability to retrieve this information later on. The three main brain systems involved in this: the hippocampus, your memory encoding hub, forming new episodic memories, consolidating your short-term memory into this longer-term storage. When something is novel, when you enjoy doing it, your hippocampus becomes more active. Second system is your dopaminergic system, essentially your motivation and your salient system. Novelty activates your VTA and your substantia nigra more effectively than doing something that is boring. Critically, these areas release dopamine, which signals motivational relevance. But critically, this triggers a prediction error signal, because usually when you sit down to study, you think it's going to be boring. Stimulus does not match prior expectations. The dopamine release does two very important things. It enhances hippocampal plasticity and strengthens long-term potentiation, essentially helping you learn and revise concepts more effectively. Long-term potentiation is your cellular base of learning, and it is the LTP is the strengthening of these synaptic connections. So novelty doesn't just make learning interesting, it biologically increases the probability that the strength of these synapses will improve. So these are the most important things. Novelty, incorporating different study techniques, making sure that you are enjoying the environment in which you are studying, making sure that you are not bored doing the same thing over and over again, romanticizing the studying experience. These are all key to an effective study session. If you like this video and you found it helpful, I have linked all of the papers that I talked about in the description. If you are interested in seeing more videos like this, I recommend you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.